watch it, or I'll have dogs running in my office. They
Oh, okay.
they don't want to stay out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All righty.
Oh, gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate. Let's just start it off. As I've mentioned to some people before, I've worked with both of you for over 20 years independently. But I know that both of you have been in this as long or longer than I have. Lloyd, how long have you been working in the music industry?
I've been working in the music industry for over 40 years. So I actually came to Nashville in 1976. So I guess that's when I got started.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it was little things here, but it was the beginning of me getting off into the business and all that. And 1976, I graduated from college, came here, and started working as soon as I got here.
Well, you mentioned college, where you were in Baltimore, correct?
Yeah, well, that's where I'm from originally.
Okay.
But I went to school in Boston. I went to the New England Conservatory of Music in Boston.
Oh, okay.
And I got my 4-year degree there. I was a trumpet major, so that was my major in college. And like I said, once I graduated from there, came to Nashville, and I've been here ever since.
All right. Well, now, okay, so that interestingly ties in because, John, you've got Boston roots as such.
Well, it's interesting because I grew up in Boston and I went to college in Baltimore. So Lloyd and I switched.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. Where'd you go to school, John?
Towson.
Towson, okay. All right.
Towson University. So it's funny. Like you, Lloyd, I could have gone to school in my hometown, but I wanted to get the heck out of there.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Not that there weren't good schools there. I just want to live away from home, so.
Yeah. Well, John, how long have you been chasing the music industry?
Let me see. So, yeah, close to 40 years myself. I graduated college in 1980, so just about 40 years. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, I've worked with both of you independently. I've also seen some photos where you two have worked together on stage. So you both play instruments. John, you're trombone like myself.
Mm-hmm.
From years past, and Lloyd trumpet. But you also both tour. John, from time to time you tour.
I toured with a couple Broadway shows. I was out with a chorus line on the first bus and truck of a chorus line, and I was out with Bob Fosse's Dancin'. Toured with that Broadway show for a while, and at the time I was living in Cincinnati. And recently I've toured with Martina McBride. I did 2 years on her Everlasting tour as her trombone player. And then recently just did her Christmas tour this past 2019. So as far as touring, that's kind of the big hits.
All right. And Lloyd, and you still go out from time to time.
Yeah. Basically I've been with the same band for probably almost 40 years as well.
Okay.
And it's a local band, but we've done like a lot of weddings and corporate events. But we've also done a couple of governor inaugurations. We did Bill Clinton when he was governor of Arkansas. We did, we did one here in Tennessee. I think McWhorter or somebody. We did one in Kentucky as well. But I mean, basically, we've done some nice things.
Well, that's awesome. So also from the standpoint of touring, I know that Lloyd, you've been over to China. It's been a while back, right? Didn't you go over there for an arrangement project that you did?
Yeah. It was a guy out of LA, and he wanted to go to China and do strings. So I said, hey, I've never been there. I'll go with you. So
nice. All right.
We hooked up, and it was good. It was a good experience. The players were great over there. Everybody was nice. I mean, it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody was competent, studio-wise, engineer-wise, musician-wise, and we got a great product out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any language barrier, Lloyd, when you worked over there?
Well, there was a translator, so I didn't worry about that. But yeah, there definitely was a language barrier. But the translator that we had with us, he took care of, translating, between me and the musicians and everything. So we got through everything pretty good.
All right. And as for fluent English musicians, John, you have worked in Abbey Road a few times.
Yes, I've been really fortunate to. I have a producer who works out of Sweetwater in Fort Wayne who loves to go to uh, Abbey Road and record strings and brass. And my first time over there, I got to use the big room, Studio One, where they do all the film scores like James Bond and all the Star Wars films, and got to work with an orchestra in there. We've got a really exciting prog rock project coming up for drummer Nick DiVirgilio, who some people know from Sweetwater, but he's also internationally known as one of the top prog rock drummers in the world. But he's also a great composer, songwriter, singer. So yeah, working at Abbey Road is always a thrill. The last couple times I'm there, I've been in two, which is the room, the Beatles room, the one with the long staircase. It's always such a treat to go over there.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I have worked with both of you on different show projects. Lloyd, I've worked with you on a lot of gospel projects, and John, I've worked with you on a lot of cruise ship stuff. Lloyd, one of the most interesting, fun projects that I worked with you on was a movie score. Do you recall that? Do you recall that movie project?
Yeah, it was one of Tyler Perry's first movie projects that he did. I think it was A Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Okay.
And the budget was almost non-existent,
Oh, wow.
so we had to improvise. And I think I used a couple horns, maybe a couple strings, and probably enhance it with some synthesizer stuff, just to try to make it bigger than what it was. But being able to create a scene and make the music, feel the emotion in that musical scene was one of the things I've always enjoyed doing. So got a chance to do that, but it was on a small scale with that first project, like I said, because of the budget. Mm-hmm. And but from that one, I got a chance to do his next movie with the same composer, and we ended up doing that one down in New Orleans, because he's originally from New Orleans, and it was after Katrina, the hurricane down there. So he wanted to help, the musicians down there in New Orleans and all that kind of stuff. So we used members of the New Orleans Symphony, for that next movie that I did with them down there as well. So that was a much bigger project where we had the full string section, horns, woodwinds, and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
So it's always fun to be able to create those emotional scenes that, bring out emotions and, happiness and all those type of things.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a fun project to work on with you on that. So that's awesome. Yeah. And John, you and I have done a number of cruise ship projects. I know a few of them stick out in my mind. What about yours?
Several, yeah, Nick. There was one project where it was a magic show that Nick and I had to do.
We did
where they wanted
surround sound stuff.
Yes, they wanted in surround. Yeah. But they also wanted, a lot of it was, they wanted instrumental versions, rock stuff from the 80s and 90s that was really cool music. And then they also wanted me to do a lot of original music, which I decided that I was going to go with heavy percussion and brass, rhythm section guitars, and some synths, and that was it. So we had we brought in taiko drums and anvils and every sort of percussion instrument you could think of, and did instrumental versions of these Genesis tunes and things, and it was really cool. It came out
oh yeah,
it came out really great.
And the studio was full of drums, which,
yes,
me also being a drummer, I was kind of slightly in heaven for that one too. So Lloyd, how do you go about putting music into theme park shows? What's your process? What's your thought pattern?
Well, I get the video from the client with some music, guide music, as what type of genre they're looking for, what type of feel they're looking for, tempo, and all that kind of stuff. And so once I get the video, I will map it out with each section with the tempos. I start with the tempo, make sure I got the right tempo for that particular section all the way through. And then I try to, whatever feeling they're looking for, I try to match that feel with, with the music that I compose for that.
Okay.
And yeah.
And build it from there.
And build it from there, yeah. And keep it in mind that what I'm singing them the first time is just a skeleton of the whole showdown, so that when they hear it, they'll tell me this is the right direction, this is not the right direction, all that kind of stuff. So if I need to go back, I can go back and change this particular scene or that scene, or if the tempo needs to be changed, whatever needs to be changed, I try to make it flexible so that, I'm always pleasing the client and, giving them what they're looking for.
Yeah. All right. Well, that makes sense.
That's the name of the game, pleasing the client.
Yeah.
Whatever we do musically, that's always the name of the game.
But you also have fun working on these projects, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, because I'm able to be creative and do my own thing, as opposed to like when I do gospel music and I'm arranging, I get some music that's already done and I'm just enhancing that.
Okay.
Theme part music, I mean, it's my original music from scratch all the way to to the finished final product.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Same basic concept when you look at a show and you're putting music to a show. Same basic thing. You look at the show and see what the show.
For the cruise ship, a lot of time I get called a lot of the time because I'm really good at making it sound just like the original.
Mm-hmm.
So my clients very often will come to me and say, look, here's this track from the 70s or the 80s or the 40s or the 20s or this rap track or whatever it is. We need you to make it sound as close as possible to the original artist. And then usually it's that, and then just lift it up 10 or 20% more. You're just adding more excitement. You're like a tailor. You're crafting the suit. You're going to want to put it in a key where my singers can sing it. You're going to put it at a tempo where the choreographer feels comfortable having the dancers do it. And oh, by the way, it's a 45-minute show. This is a 3.5-minute section. I need these 7 tunes jammed into that 3-minute section. And we need to hear enough of them that the audience recognizes that. But again, they don't want to hear your interpretation of Brick House. That sounds like a waltz done in Celtic Ireland in the 30s. They want to hear Brick House the way they know Brick House. And they want to hear shout the way they know shout.
We do things the way people want to hear them, because that's what they pay us for. That's what they want to do. So.
Right.
That's true.
Organization is a big part of what I do for the cruise industry. Organization is huge. You've got to stay on budget, on time. And when they come to you with changes, you need to be able to turn around and do it on a dime. And the way to do that is to be organized. So.
Oh yeah. And you two, I've worked with a lot of arranger writers on different projects throughout the years, but you two are the ones that are the most organized. You both come in, music done, and maybe 1 or 2 notes get changed during the tracking. But Lloyd, how is it for you? Is it beneficial for you to walk in with everything nice and organized?
When you're on the clock with most of these musicians, especially with the string players, things have to be organized and every note perfect, because you got a lot of folks in there and time is money and they're looking at the clock.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure everything is perfect so you can go in there. And I mean, you might make some minor changes here and there if something doesn't feel right. But for the most part with strings, I try not to do nothing on the fly.
Yeah. And John, you're the same way. You walk in, you've got
stuff.
No,
I agree with Lloyd. I am confident that when I put a chart in front of my guys in the studio, I've given those musicians everything they need to do their job. So the fewer questions they have to ask me, the less time we're eating up in the studio. Is this really a B flat? Did you miss a natural sign here? Or hang on, I got a bad page turn or whatever. If I've cleared up all those things and give them what they need to do their job, to me, it's a sign of respect to the musicians. And I have an enormous amount of respect for the musicians in Nashville that I've been so lucky to work with in my career here. I mean, in the end, it's what I do has to serve the project, has to serve the client, because that's what keeps them coming back. I could write the greatest horn riffs in the world or greatest string parts in the world, but in my business, if I deliver everything a day late and I push back a multi-million-dollar project and it costs them a few $100,000 because I didn't get things done on time, they're not going to hire me no matter how good my horn riff is.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. You got to keep the clients happy, and that is our goal, to be creative and keep everyone happy. Which, well, gentlemen, thank you both, and hopefully we will be able to see each other in person sometime in the near future, and
Yes, hopefully
That'd be
soon,
nice.
sooner than later.
actually be back in
Yeah.
the studio. I take both of you are doing well from all of this lovely
Oh, we're fine.
distancing stuff, and
No, we're good.
good.
Yeah.
All good here. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Lloyd,
thank you.
great to see you.
Good to see
Nick,
you too,
thank
John.
you.
John, I have a
All
couple
right.
of other questions I'll call you on.
Okay. Please do. My phone is always open to you, Lloyd, anytime.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
All right, it was great to catch up with the gentleman. I hope that you caught on to a couple of things that we do around here at Eclectic Productions. Anything we can help you with, we would be happy to help you with. Our goal is to take your imagination and make it sound amazing. Thanks again. Take care.